Okay, let's dive into what's happening in Redondo Beach right now, because it is a massive, massive transformation. We're not just talking about a few new buildings, we're talking about a fundamental shift that's completely rewriting the city's identity as we speak. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? If you have this old picture of Redondo as just some quiet, sleepy beach town, well, that picture is officially ancient history. There's a wave of change moving so fast it's making everyone stop and ask, what is this place actually becoming? So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the huge physical changes happening. Then the emotional part, what's being lost in the process, and what's rising up to take its place. We'll get into the new rules for getting noticed, zoom in on a really cool case study, and then wrap up with the big, tough question that's hanging over everything. All right, first things first. You can't miss it. The most obvious change is this massive surge of development all along the Pacific Coast Highway. And I'm not just talking about one or two new buildings. This is a total overhaul of the city's main artery. Just look at this number, 49. That's how many new homes are packed into the new Navasea Living project, a huge 4-story building that just got the green light at PCH and Pearl. A single project like this is an absolute game changer for the neighborhood. So you might be asking, how in the world does a project that big even get approved? Well, it all comes down to this one key policy, the state-mandated density bonus. Basically, the developer, Bernardo Agrawal, included 8 very low-income units. In exchange for that, the state lets them build bigger and taller than local rules would normally allow. It's a trade-off.
And the economics of it are pretty clever. The project has 17,000 square feet of commercial space on the ground floor, which acts as a, quote, fiscal anchor. Think of it this way. The high-rent stores downstairs are essentially helping to pay for the affordable housing units upstairs. It's what makes the whole thing work financially.
But as you can imagine, not everyone is thrilled about it. All this new density is causing some serious friction. Residents like Carolyn Hardy are pointing out the obvious, that some of these intersections are already a nightmare. So the big question is, how is the area supposed to handle all this new traffic? Now let's shift gears, because there's a whole other side to this story. As these brand new buildings go up, some of the city's most beloved, longtime spots are vanishing. We're calling it the legacy contraction. It's really the end of an era for many. And this really hits you in the gut. Ragin' Cajun Cafe, a South Bay icon for 32 years, is closing its doors on March 1st, 2026. And it's not the only one. Combat Garage, a jiu-jitsu gym that's been around for over 20 years, is gone too. Even local spots like Pete's Coffee. You know, these weren't just businesses, they were the places where the community actually happened. But out of the ashes of these old favorites, something new is definitely rising. A totally different kind of business is starting to take root, and it signals a fundamental shift in the city's economic DNA. It's all about something called experience retail. So what is experience retail? Well, think of it like this. Businesses are moving away from just selling you stuff you can get anywhere. Instead, they're selling you highly specialized services and unique experiences. You know, the kind of thing you just can't get by clicking Add to Cart online. It's a bet that in our super digital world, a real human connection is what's truly valuable. And the new businesses popping up in Redondo are perfect examples of this. We're talking hyper-specialized. You've got the new mom school, you've got Dermafex for aesthetic treatments, and you have these awesome niche hobby shops like Me and My Bubu, which is all about Pokémon collectibles. They're not just selling products, they're selling expertise and a sense of community. Okay, so this brings us to a brand new problem. With all these super niche businesses, how on earth do you stand out? How do you grab people's attention when the landscape is more crowded and competitive than it's ever been?
Well, if you're lucky enough to have a spot right on PCH, you do something like this. The new burger place, Eat Fantastic, put up this absolutely massive mural of Dodgers superstars Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts. You literally cannot miss it. It's an incredible way to just suck in the attention of every single person driving by.
And that's the million-dollar question for everybody else, right? That's great for them, but what if you're a small, cool shop tucked away on a side street? You don't have a giant wall facing a major highway. How do you create your own version of that mural to get people in the door?
To answer that, we're going to look at a fantastic case study. It's a perfect example of how a small, niche business can use today's tools to build a really passionate community and drive actual, real-world foot traffic.
Let me introduce you to Mike Juarez. He's the owner of Me and My Bubu, a brand new shop that's all about authentic Pokémon cards and collectibles. It's the perfect example of a super passionate, niche business that has to find a way to connect with its very specific, very dedicated audience.
And this right here, this is the secret sauce. The shop's whole philosophy is that they're not just selling toys, they're creating what they call Bubu Moments. That's the authentic story, that's the emotion, and that is the core of everything they can build their marketing around.
So the playbook becomes pretty simple. Step 1, use great video to show off all the cool, unique stuff you can't find anywhere else. Step 2, tell the story behind it all. Share those Bubu moments. And step 3, use that online connection to actually pull people off their phones and into the physical store on Hawthorne Blvd. And there it is. That's the modern solution. It's all about creating a professional digital footprint. Using tools like high-quality video becomes your digital version of that giant mural on PCH. It's how a small business can shout its passion from the rooftops and build that essential bridge between its physical space and its digital community.
So let's pull back and look at the big picture here. What does all of this really mean for the future of a place like Redondo Beach? It really boils down to this classic tug of war, the charm of a local community versus cold, hard economic efficiency.
The huge takeaway is this idea that some are calling the physical renaissance. It's a fascinating trend where, in our digital world, real-life, authentic experiences are becoming incredibly valuable. But, and this is the key, those brick-and-mortar places can only really succeed if they have a strong professional digital presence to connect them to their people. You absolutely need both.
Which leaves us with this one last, really challenging question to think about. As we watch our old hangouts get replaced by high-density developments and hyper-specialized shops, who is this new city actually for? Are we building a more vibrant community for the people who have lived here for years, or are we just creating a highly efficient campus for a new type of consumer? That's the real fight for the soul of the South Bay.